Dude, what's up, everybody? Oh my goodness, it's not just one of us. There's two people on the screen right now. My name, if you don't know me, is DM ARMADA, and this guy over here is...
How's it going, everyone? I'm Kel from the Red Zone Rogue YouTube channel. I also like to talk about Flesh and Blood and all that kind of good stuff.
Now, we could be watching this on both of our channels, isn't that right? I think we're going to put this on both channels.
That is 100% correct. Should be like simultaneously posted both channels at the same time.
And if it's not, then you should make fun of us somehow.
Yes.
That's what you should do. Go to our channels, compare the timestamps, and then just leave terrible comments. Wait, no, don't do that. That would be... it doesn't matter.
Leave some sort of comment that is very respectful, but noting of our grievous error.
There you go. Leave us a paragraph, a full itemized list of things. Okay, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk together because you reached out and you had an idea for us to do a video together, like a collaboration, right?
Yeah, for sure. So the idea is we have Monarch, which is going to be a very, very large, pivotal Flesh and Blood set. And I thought it would be very interesting to start talking about which hero classes we would like to see most in Monarch, and maybe which classes we suspect we will see in Monarch. Not just which ones we would like to see, but also ones that we think are very, very likely. And I think this is something that could get a lot of creative juices flowing between both of us and also the community too, because I feel that a lot of folks out there will also have opinions on what they want to see or maybe what they don't want to see.
Yeah, and I've already seen posts like this on like the Facebook groups, people trying to speculate towards what kind of classes or lack thereof. There's some people that don't want any new classes at all. But I guess if we are going to make guesses onto what classes we could see and or what classes that we'd want to see, I know I looked through the lore book page where it has professions. Did you look at that when you were trying to come up with some?
Not only that, I have it on screen right in front of me at the ready. All the classes. Let's go.
Sweet. Okay. Do you want to? Let's do this. Let's each go pick one on your list, and I have 4. Off the thing. I don't know if you have like 4 or something. Pick one off your list, and then we'll bounce back and forth.
Yeah, I have 4 off the thing, and then maybe one that's not off the thing. Okay, so this is the first one on my list. This is one that I both think has a decent chance of being in the set, and also one that I really want to see in the set. And that is the Necromancer class for multiple reasons. First of all, I think we need more arcane using classes. We only have a couple right now, and Kano is really the only like solid arcane, or wizard is the only like specific arcane class. So having another one would be very sweet. But also, Necromancer makes me think of like graveyard shenanigans. And currently, Flesh and Blood really doesn't have any way to interact with the graveyard. And making your graveyard into a resource could be very, very, very interesting with Flesh and Blood, because when you block with a card, it goes into your graveyard. So you could maybe block with cards that then go into your graveyard to kind of set up for future turns. That's one of the things I really like about Flesh and Blood, and one of the kind of intricacies with the game is trying to set up for future turns, because it's pretty hard with only like a 4-card hand. You know, you got the arsenal, but a mechanic that allows for like graveyard shenanigans could be really sweet. And I think it could fit within the themes of Monarch. I don't really know all of the themes, but we saw a lot of like Runeblade, the monastery stuff, and I don't know, man. I think we could see some necromancers coming out of that area, and especially if some of the areas are under attack. So
that's true, yeah. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, because if you look at the lore that they present for Runeblade, I think it's literally just the entire first story when they introduced the class. He literally gets into a giant fight with the Necromancer, which is pictured on Read the Runes. So the Necromancer there on Read the Runes, he fights her and all of her horde of undead, which is really cool fight, and you should definitely read up on it. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. We have seen stuff like that, though, graveyard manipulation mechanics in Runeblade already, like Rattlebones pulls stuff out, and I think Crown of Dichotomy also pulls stuff out and puts it on top, doesn't it? Something like that.
It lets you get an attack action and a non-attack action, or something like that.
Yeah, and it puts it on top of the deck, I think. So we do see some of that, and that for me is what gives me a little bit of trepidation towards seeing a Necromancer class, because we already have the overlap in mechanic possibilities, but really they have so much design space to actually go and do things that they could just lean heavy into graveyard manipulation, like you said, and it would be its own sort of thing.
So that's my number. Well, it's not my number one. It's just the first on my list. This is in no particular order. Let me just say, but I did have Necromancer on there. I think a lot of folks also want to see Necromancer, especially from like Diablo, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People love the Necromancer. I think it
Mhm.
could be a great fit in Flesh and Blood, and a whole class dedicated to graveyard mechanics could be really sweet.
So one on my list, and you may agree or disagree. I think it would be kind of interesting to see how they would figure out, and really it's more from a design perspective and not like breaking the game. How would you handle a cleric class? Because clerics in D&D both can play the life gain and the status effect kind of game while also just being a melee fighter. So it makes sense from like a on like a surface level idea. It makes sense for that to be incorporated into the game. The one thing I do worry about is that if you have too many, and this is really true of a lot of games, if you have too many life gain mechanics that are available to you very easily, particularly if they're locked behind a class paywall where you can't use this if you're not a cleric. If you have too many of those effects, then you stall games out. And for a game that is really trying to focus on the high level competitive play aspect, stalling games out can be a little bit dangerous. So I would love to see this class personally, because I think the play style is kind of interesting of within D&D, like a cleric that kind of balances between I'm just going to hit you really hard with like some weapon, and also I'm going to heal myself up or give some kind of a buff. I could see that being in the game, and I would love to see how they tackle just the aspects of creating that class. So that's for me one of the ones that's on my list.
Cleric was also on my list. It was actually the second on my list. I have a lot of things to say about Cleric. So you mentioned like a D&D Cleric. I actually wrote down D&D Cleric with like full plate mail, or would you prefer a D&D Cleric, full plate chainmail weapon, or more of like a priestly type cleric, with like robes and a big old staff? Would you prefer like the
Hmm.
D&D bruiser cleric, or more of like a holy man kind of cleric?
I think off the top of my head, the first thing I think of is dwarf cleric from the D&D
Yeah,
art. So that is the one I would gravitate towards, and it makes a ton of sense within the game too, because they'd have a melee weapon that they could take advantage of, and then perhaps their class just leans a little bit more towards healing spells or playing more auras. It's almost as if like Guardian kind of fits that already, though, when you think about it, right? Because
a little
Guardian
bit.
has those auras, status effect, or like just effects that make attacks cheaper, or things like that. So uh, I kind of feel that way about it, but I could see them doing like an art style that is reminiscent of like the Robes of Rapture that they did in Arcane Rising, with that kind of a cleric. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I agree like 1,000,000% with what you said about the healing. I think healing in general in games, especially like in Magic the Gathering, usually isn't that great, but it can be really annoying and frustrating to play against if all your opponent is doing is just like I heal, I heal, I
Yeah,
heal, I heal, and now I have like 80 health.
right.
Um, and there's also already a card in the game that kind of hoses that whole thing over. The Rune Blade weapon from Crucible of War
Reaping Blade. Yeah.
nullifies all healing if you have more health than your opponent. So I mean, that could just be like a hard counter to like a heal heavy cleric, which isn't bad. Having hard counters isn't bad, but
No.
yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's a good thought process. Is that it is a hard counter. You'd need, I think, like a few more of those, particularly something in the generic card pool, to really be able to prevent things from getting toxic. But that is
Yeah.
an interesting class in my mind that they could do something with.
Yeah, I think it could be really cool, and I think it's one that they will. I honestly I put money down that they're going to make it eventually. I don't know if it'll be in Monarch, but I'd put money down that Cleric. We're going to see Cleric
Yeah.
in at least the next like 2 years. Looking out of the entire list that was on there,
Mm-hmm.
the most interesting to me, like just the most interesting, like how would they do this? How would it be cool? Is the Alchemist class. I think the Alchemist would be very, very interesting. We already have potions. Potions are also really good. People play with your energy potions, your time snap potions, not really the potion of strength or the crazy brew, but people still play with them. They're great. And just having an alchemist would be so interesting. Like, do they incorporate more potions, class specific potions, debilitation effects like poison clouds and that kind of stuff, acid? Maybe they have like a plague doctor mask or something. I don't know. I think it could be very, very cool and very, very unique and interesting. So I would love to see alchemist. And also, when I think of the word monarch, I think of like you have your king, your royal setup, but they also have their house apothecary, like their house alchemist. So I think it could happen. I think it would be very, very interesting.
1000% yes. This is on my list as well. In fact, I was going to save it for the end because it's my favorite. It's my favorite idea, or at least it's tied.
Yeah.
It's tied for my favorite that is listed in the book. I 100% agree. I think this is a class that they are going to make. I think they're going to make potions. I think it's going to have lingering effects, status effects for you or for your opponent. I think there's going to be some cool hero effect where, like, potions, when you play like an item, for example, it does something else. Maybe it like gives you a status effect every time you play it, something like that. I can 100% see it, and I really hope that we see it because I want to know what they're doing with it, if they are doing something with this class. I think it's going to be really cool if it exists, and if it doesn't, then Legend Story Studios, you got to make it exist so we can see how cool it's going to look, because I want to see it.
I really, really, really hope for an alchemist class this year. Even if it's not in Monarch, in Kingdoms,
yeah, come on,
please, alchemist. That would be so sweet.
Just tuck it in there.
I mean, even like just like I said, Plague Doctor Mask Alchemist, or even more of like this is gonna get real nerdy for a second, like a Full Metal Alchemist kind of alchemist who just creates stuff. All of that, I'm down. 100%.
That kind of reminds me of like rune chant tokens when you say Full Metal Alchemist. That's interesting.
Yeah, but yes, rune chant tokens kind of look like
they do. Yeah, they kind of do. Totally. Yeah. I'm right there on board with you. I guess it's my turn then. I got to pick one. Okay. So let's see. We both agree on Cleric. Yes. We both agree on Alchemist. All right. I'm going to save that one for last. Okay. Here's the other one that I think would be interesting. And I don't quite know how they would make this different from some of the other things we already talked about. But a Bard class would be really cool. And I think it would be really cool because you can shoehorn in like a new way of playing cards, or a new way of giving status buffs or debuffs. Because when you look at a bard, they're generating their magic or their arcane or whatever you want to call it from within. Like they produce some sort of an art form. Sorry, I just thought of a meme. There's this D&D meme where like someone made a bard and they like draw stick figures to like do these spells. Like that is the kind of way that a bard will go about dealing damage or doing effects. And I think that would be a really cool way to kind of tackle the game itself. Like I'm going to build a bard deck and my bard is singing, and like whenever they sing, this thing happens or that thing. I think that would be so much fun, and it reminds me totally of like playing a game of D&D and having your little character that does something. And I think it could be really interesting as a class 2 within a multiplayer effect, because what if like you have a bard that does some sort of like, it casts sleep and everyone has to meet some requirement in order to play cards or do this other effect, use hero effects, that sort of thing. That would be really cool. And if they're making a PvE kind of a mode, which they've talked about a couple of times here and there, where you're playing against a like some big bad, perhaps it's the big bad that they hint at coming through this void dimension in the lore that they talk about on their website. But if you're playing against that thing, it would be cool to have all of these different classes that do different things, and it would be cool to have a bard that could give buffs to a party, because basically they would then be able to take the game and turn it into a PvE D&D session with a deck of cards. That's amazing to me.
I think that is highly likely. Bard was not on my list, but I've thought a lot about Bard. In fact, I think we've already seen the potential hero, the potential Bard hero. If you look at the card Coax the Commotion, the dude, centerpiece, he's holding like a lute, dude. And I'm like, there's my Bard. I could see him right there.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if like, here's your Bard, and it's like that dude. Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that too. Everything you said, I was like thinking about it as you were talking, and I was like, oh yeah, this should be great for like multiplayer. And then you said multiplayer, and I'm like, yo, that's exactly perfect. Especially even like against like a competitive multiplayer. One of the popular archetypes for Magic the Gathering, like for Commander or whatever, is group hug, where you kind of slightly help everyone out, play the politic game, but you're really you're in it to win. I think Bard would be perfect for that. So this is the last, well, the sort of last one on my list. This is the last one on my list that was on that lore book list, without talking about some other ones that I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is probably the least interesting one, but I think it might be the most likely to see in Monarch. If I had to like put a wager, like which
Wait.
class do I think is gonna be in Monarch?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna guess.
I think it's gonna be this one.
I'm gonna guess. I'm looking at the book.
Okay.
Like we've mentioned literally everything except two. So if you're gonna guess, I have a 50-50 shot to be right here. Are you gonna say assassin?
Yes.
Okay.
Assassin.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to see illusionist. I think that'd be sweet, but I really think assassin is gonna be in Monarch. It's called Monarch. We know they're like attacking the city. We like a Solana. I have a feeling there's gonna be an assassin, and they're gonna kill someone, like some major character. I think it's very, very likely. It makes sense with the story. We need more like roguish type classes. We have Azalea already, but I think it's super likely, like a dual wield assassin class that has mechanics different than ninja. I think it's super, super likely. I think it could be really cool too. But that would be my bet. If I had to put money down, I would say assassin on class most likely to be in Monarch.
I would not disagree, and I think it's going to be there as well. But I didn't put it on my list because I thought, you know what, he's probably going to pick that. So let me pick the other one, because the other one's illusionist, right? The other one's illusionist, and this would be so much fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no clue what an illusionist is. I'm just going to assume they're doing magic tricks, or they're just tricking you in some way, shape, or form. So we've seen traps be introduced as a defense reaction in Ranger, okay, where it will act as a defense reaction, but it also does some extra status or some extra effect unless your opponent pays to stop that effect. What if every illusionist card was like that, except they couldn't pay and they just had to take the effect? Or what if like the entire class was just built on traps? Like, I'm going to play something, heck, we'll even go like straight Yu-Gi-Oh on it, and they're going to play a card face down, and they're just going to wait for you to trigger that trap card. That would be so much fun. It would be a complete different play style experience, because you're not necessarily, well, I mean, maybe you're not necessarily doing like attacks or anything like that, but anytime that they trigger one of your illusions, it turns out, oh, you wanted to attack me? Well, turns out your sword is made of like noodles, like something like that. It would be hilarious, and it would be so cool. And I think that would be a class that I would love to play, or at least try out, even if it's not super powerful. I think that would be really fun. And again, it makes total sense if they're trying to push multiplayer formats, because that sounds like something that would just be a real thorn in some people's side, even though it may not win a game of UPF. I think that'd be fun.
I think illusionist would be the class I'm most interested to see the mechanics with, because I have no idea what they would do. Because when I think of illusionist, I think of Guild Wars. I don't know if anyone out there's played Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars.
But like, there's an illusionist kind of class in Guild Wars, and they're like a debuff kind of class in that game.
Was it in Guild Wars 2?
I'm not sure if it was in Guild Wars 2. I know it was in Guild Wars 1. There was like an illusionist. It was called Mesmer, I think.
Yes, okay, the Mesmer. I'm sitting here racking my brain because I played a ton of Guild Wars. Guild Wars is a fantastic game, and I was sitting here, where was an illusionist? But no, yeah, Mesmer. I remember Mesmer.
That's exactly what I think of. And then I also think of like in Dungeons and Dragons, the illusionist school. You can create minor illusions. You can create things that aren't actually there. Maybe for defense, maybe for debuff, maybe for like the traps, like you said, could be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very curious to see what they do with illusionist. I hope it's not just like I cast a spell that hurts you. Like
it's wizard.
Yeah, like fake fire or something, ghost fire or ghostly reaper or something. I hope it's not
Ghost
that. I hope it's something cool.
That's going to be a card. You just predicted a card name, and then Legendary Studios will watch this, hopefully, and they'll be like, crap, he named Ghostfire already. Well, we got to give him that as a spoiler card. Just you wait.
Yes.
Ghostfire is coming down the pipeline for you. Okay, wait. So you're saying you have a class that's not in the book, but you would...
Yes.
Are you guessing that it's going to be like a class at some point, or are you just wanting to see it?
I want to see it. I think it could fit in the world. I think it would be very interesting in the world. I think we need to see more classes from this particular area. Yeah, because we currently only have like one character, though we only have like one character from any given area, but I feel like this area is a little bit forgotten about.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going. I have
It
one
is
of
a
these as well. Okay, I have a
okay.
class that I would like to see that's not mentioned anywhere as well, and I
This
hope that we have I hope we have the same thing. I hope we picked
is
it.
your class a character class in D&D?
Okay, so I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, okay.
I think. Well, no, it's not a class in D&D. It's more of a
Okay.
it's more of a profession. We'll just put it that way.
Okay, I think we have some different things here then.
Oh, okay.
Because the class I picked is from D&D. It's also a class in World of Warcraft. Just giving some time to people. People can guess
The Death
what it
Knight.
is.
No,
No.
you can't do
Runeblade's
that.
already like a
Yeah, you
Death
can't
Knight
do
anyway.
yeah, basically the same thing.
No, it's Druid. I think
Oh, okay.
Druid would be awesome, especially like a Druid from the Savage Land.
Yeah, there you go.
Would be super cool. That can like shapeshift. They can like turn into different things to either like pump up their defense or have better attacks. I think Druid could be really, really sweet. It definitely doesn't fit the theme of Monarch, so I don't think it would be in the Monarch. But if there's ever a set themed around Savage Lands at all, I think Druid is like a slam dunk. And it's a very different flavored class than any other class we've talked about or is in the game right now. It's more akin to Brute than anything, but it's like a Brute, but like a spellcaster. You can also replace the word Druid with Shaman. Shaman could be cool too.
Sure.
But I think something like that would be really sweet.
You could do
like
flip
nature
cards.
magic.
Yeah, you could do like a flip. One side is the one form, and then you flip it when the hero transforms. You could do something like that.
Yeah.
You know, status effect.
Yeah.
When you play this card, if you flip to this side at the beginning of your turn, it does this effect. Otherwise, it does the other effect. I mean, that's kind of things we've seen in other card games that have functioned fine. So I could totally see them shoehorning that idea in and doing something with it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, like maybe their equipment, like maybe they're like legendary equipment, like flips or something like that.
Yeah, I could dig that. It wasn't the one I picked though. I thought maybe we agreed on this one, or maybe we like somehow like mind melded for this. But here we go. I was literally gonna make a video about this because I sat around like a geek and made custom cards for this already.
Oh, dude, lay it on me.
I want them to have pirates in the game.
Oh, dude,
come on. We need to have really cool pirates in the game. Okay, look, they have introduced coins. We have the ability to steal money from people. We have someone that already fires a gun, so we could totally go the pistol route. Okay, we can have them like total swashbuckle style with gun in a hand and then a sword in the other.
I just thought of something. I'll let you finish, but I have an idea. I have a question for you.
It makes total sense. We've already been privy to the fact that they have mercenaries in the world, okay, in the world, because Kasai is part of a mercenary band. So there's no reason to say that we can't go to this island-like sort of nation or continent and not have pirates. Now, I think even within the was it the lore for Bravo where he talked about being towards the coast? Maybe I'm misremembering that. I can't remember. So I was reading the lore, and I feel like something kind of tipped me towards like, hey, they could do pirates there. But maybe it's just because Arya's on that side of the continent. But it should be in the game. It should be in the game right now. Pirates.
I think pirates would be a really cool way to introduce a new area, like an island nation or island faction or something like that. I think that'd be really
That's a great
sweet
idea. Totally.
Yeah. So my question was going to be, you already kind of answered this. So you want like nautical pirates at the seas with scurvy and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking like, what about like sky pirates or something? If you want to get like with the Teklo side of things, they have all this steampunk.
That's
Teklo.
A great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You could totally do that. I don't want my pirates to have scurvy, but I love the idea of sky pirates or sea pirates. I don't even care. Just give me pirates. Let me steal coins or steal cards from the top of my opponent's deck or cards from the bottom of my opponent's deck. Let me, like do things where if I get more coins, I can trigger a special effect. Like all of that. That's the number one thing. Like all the classes that exist in the book are all awesome. But I'm sold for pirates right now. I'd pay money for pirates in Monarch. It would happen.
Pirates sound really cool. Now that you're talking about like the coin mechanic, I haven't really thought about that very much. Now I'm thinking about other classes that can use the coin mechanic. I think Assassin could use the coin mechanic. They're getting paid for their deeds.
It's coming. I mean, like we know the cards exist because they've been referenced already.
Yeah.
So
gold.
That right there should give us hints towards what we will see within the next set or two at least, right? Why would they print cards here, even short printed? Why would they print cards that exist and then not give payoff in 2 sets, right? So we can expect like something to be here, referencing coppers, silvers, gold, that sort of thing.
Yeah. 2 heroes from Crucible of War mention coppers on them.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I was also looking at the list real quick to seeing if there's like a thief class or something. There is not, but thief class, I think it could fit in with the assassin.
Assassin, yeah, totally.
I was gonna say I'd rather see pirates than thieves, to be honest. They're the same thing, but pirates are like cooler thieves.
Pirates are cooler
more
thieves.
Organized. They're like organized nautical thieves.
That's the best description of pirates. That's exactly what they are. They're organized nautical thieves. They live by code.
So as we end this, I have a question. Out of everything we've talked about, which class, I'll say 2 questions. Which one do you want the most in Monarch? Like, do you just want the most? And which one do you think is going to be the most likely in Monarch? If you had to like put your chips down and take a bet, 1 class of each, which one do you want the most? And which one do you think will be there?
Want the most pirates. We've cleared that. That's already, we've swabbed the deck. Okay. Think the most will show up. Does it have to be from my list? If it has to be from my list, I would pick Alchemist because I want that. If it has to be or if I can go out of my list, I'll go to your list and I'll pick Assassin because I also agree. I think Assassin's a shoe-in for a set that's called Monarch, and I think there's a lot of reasons why you could include a class like that. What about you?
It's Assassin. It's for the class that I think will be in it. 100%. I think Assassin will be in there. The class that I want to see most, probably Alchemist. I want to see the Alchemist. Show it to me. Cool. I think it would be really cool. I want to do potion-y stuff. I want to poison people. Yeah. Show me the Alchemist.
I made Alchemist custom cards a year ago.
I saw you post those.
Yeah, dude. Back for that was a contest. Who ran that contest? Why did I blank just now? Someone ran that contest like 2 months after the game came out. They were like, "Hey, make custom cards." Oh, it was Yazi. Yazi ran that contest. You remember? So he was like, "Hey, make custom cards, and then we'll share them everywhere." And people will be like, "What's this game for?" Or "What's for this game?" That's not a sentence. How would you say that? What are these custom cards for? What game? There we go. That's sort of it. And so I made archer cards for an archer class. And then we got
How close are they to Ranger?
Dude, okay. You're not sure. Okay. Go to the YouTube channel. Go watch the video. I think I literally called it like custom Ranger cards, and you're gonna have a good laugh when you read some of them.
I'll take a look after we're done with this. I will definitely go take a look,
and then send me a message because I want to know your reaction. I think that would be funny. Heck, I'll keep you on the call and I'll just watch your reaction because it was it kind of floored me. Okay, then after I did that one, I had fun with that, and so I made Alchemist cards, and so you like had lingering effects, spells, and like items that you'd play. They were pretty cool. So you never know. They could do it, man. They could do it.
Yeah, more items. More items would be really cool. Especially because we don't have a lot. We got mechanologist items and we got
that's
like
basically
4 potions.
Some potions, yeah. So why not include more? Some of them could be generic, some of them could be class. I dig it, man. I would buy it. I mean, I'm already gonna buy it, let's be honest.
Oh yeah. if I can find it, I'm gonna buy it.
That's right. Well, that's it. That's what we got for today's episode. We should do this again, shouldn't we?
We definitely should. And we got a lot of time before Monarch comes out. We got like 4 months? Feels like 9 months, but we got like four months.
Yes, we'll sit and twiddle our thumbs and we'll talk about things that we're excited for. If you enjoy this, if you want to see us talk about more things and ramble a lot about cards that we could see or classes we could see, you should go down into whatever comment section you're watching this on, and you should leave a comment telling us you want to see more of this, and like consider doing the like thing. People like the like thing. You should do that. And then once you're done there, go to the other video on the other channel and do the exact same thing, like carbon copy both. Okay? Literally the same thing.
Copy paste the comment, maybe mirror it so it's a little bit different, you know. You can copy it but change your work a little bit just to show.
There you go. Do it. Do it. Let us know if you want to see more of this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, everybody, I don't know, thanks for watching. Do you say thanks for watching?
Yeah, say thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time for some more card game content.